She said, "Are you mentally fit?" Is basically what she said. How do you respond to that?
Well, I did a cognitive test recently, and I aced it. And when I refer, like, for instance, oftentimes I'll say purposely about Obama, and I'd interchange it with Biden because I believe Obama has a lot to do with what's happening and destroying our country.
Hey everyone, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and welcome back to What Was That? Donald Trump's cognitive skills continue to fall apart before our very eyes, and now the self-proclaimed stable genius is pushing a wild story that his confused mental state is all on purpose.
Sure, Jan.
One by one, Donald Trump's opponents have dropped out of the presidential race and fallen in line to kiss the ring. But the one person that he is most afraid of is Nikki Haley.
By the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley, you know, did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything? Deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things. Like Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people.
The guy just can't stop talking about her. Nikki Haley wasn't in office on January 6th, let alone in charge of anything at the Capitol that day. Actually, let's just have her respond.
Something happened that has happened multiple times. He was on a temper tantrum about me, which is fine. He does that often. But he went on and talked about how I kept the police from going into the Capitol on January 6th. Went on and repeated that I didn't do anything to secure the Capitol. Let's be clear. I wasn't in the Capitol on January 6th. I wasn't in office on January 6th. He mentioned it 3 times. He got confused. He got confused and said he was running against Obama. He never ran against Obama. Don't put our country at risk like this.
She makes an excellent point. Donald Trump is not mentally fit for office. However, the cowardly GOP is unwilling to stand up against him. And at this point, Trump is so mentally unfit for office that he is literally writing the anti-Trump ads for President Biden.
Last night, Trump is at a rally.
You know, Nikki Haley,
And he's going on and on mentioning me multiple times as to why I didn't handle January 6th better.
Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people. They don't want to talk about that.
I wasn't in office then. They're saying he got confused.
You have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. You have ID to buy a loaf of bread. What? What is? I'm driving over a road where it's almost all paper. And you know, you can see paper. I know paper. I know cans. But all the time now we see whales washing up on shore because of the wind. Our veterans don't have cell phones, do they?
He got confused. He got confused and said he was running against Obama. He never ran against Obama.
And we did with Obama. We won an election that everyone said couldn't be won.
Obama he doesn't want to talk about it.
Well, you mean President Biden. So,
Don't put our country at risk like this.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
I wanted to show you the original clips on their own before showing you President Biden's campaign ad so that you know and you can see for yourself that these are Trump's own words. These are the confused ramblings of a deranged, senile man that the Republican Party is boosting. And let's just be honest here, the GOP is supporting a serial con man with 91 felony counts who's bankrupted multiple companies and is a known rapist and sexual abuser.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
But this isn't the first time on the campaign trail that Trump has been confused about Nikki Haley. The guy said that Nikki Haley was killing Nikki Haley in the polls.
Nikki Haley, she's killing Nikki Haley in the polls, and she's also beating DeSantis in the polls.
Trump's confusion with Nikki Haley tells me 2 things. Even before Ron DeSantis cowardly dropped out, he was no longer a focus for Trump. Haley is all that Trump thinks about. He is obsessed and he feels threatened.
He is revved up the name calling with you, and now a new nickname for you is Nimbra. It's a play off your birth name, then it's Nimrod, and he goes back and forth. But a lot of people are interpreting that as racial zingers. Do you see it that way?
You know, politics is not personal for me. But what this
But what do you think of that? What do you think's going on?
It's what he does. This is what he does when he feels insecure. This is what he does when he feels threatened. I worked with him. I know exactly how he is. He starts
But he never
lashing
did
out.
that when you worked with him?
No, because he thought I did a great job. And he said I was tough. And he said that I was the best UN ambassador they ever had. And he always told everybody, don't mess with me, because, she's a killer. She's going to make sure that she keeps America strong. He praised me constantly, and we had that.
But Trump's confusion isn't just that he's thinking about Haley 24/7. It's the fact that his brain can't can't focus on more than one thing at a given time. The mush in his brain is stuck in a loop with very limited function. He'll attack a judge from one of his several court cases, then watch Sean Hannity on Fox News, then drink a Diet Coke, then attack Nikki Haley, and then eat fast food before sending off a flurry of defamatory posts while sitting on the f***ing toilet at 3 a.m. Honestly, I'm surprised the guy's still breathing. He struggles to drink water, eats nothing but fast food, and never exercises. The guy seriously needs to stop bragging about things that never happened and maybe, just maybe, focus on his health. It is the new year after all, and speaking of the new year, I want to thank today's sponsor, Magic Spoon. My New Year's resolution is to cut back on sugar and stay on track with my fitness goals, and Magic Spoon makes that easier and more delicious than ever. The Magic Spoon Variety Pack comes in 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. Their Variety Pack has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Only 140 calories a serving, and it's high protein, has 0 grams of sugar, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. I'm a huge fan of the peanut butter flavor, but I'm an even bigger fan of mixing the peanut butter and cocoa together. It's a simple and high-quality meal to start the day. Magic Spoon has the great taste you love with more protein and less sugar. Go to magicspoon.com/Gabe to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code Gabe at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember, start the new year off right with a delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/Gabe and use the code Gabe to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. Trump is falling apart before our very eyes, and now he's trying to assure his base that he is mentally fit to be president. So much so that Trump is now claiming that when he confuses Biden with Obama and Haley with Pelosi, it's all on purpose.
She said, "Are you mentally fit?" is basically what she said. How do you respond to that?
Well, I did a cognitive test recently, and I aced it. And when I refer, like, for instance, oftentimes I'll say purposely about Obama, and I'd interchange it with Biden because I believe Obama has a lot to do with what's happening and destroying our country. And I'll interchange, and they'll just say, "Oh, he said," or I'll imitate Biden walking into a wall or not being able to find his way, and the fake news will go out, and they'll say, "Oh, he actually had a hard time," when I'm doing an imitation, and everybody understands it. No, I don't think she could pass the test that I passed. I passed much harder test than she does, and she's just trying to get a little nasty because she came in 3rd place. She wanted to come in 2nd, and she wasn't even that close, actually, to 2nd. You know, I have to give that to Ron, to Sanctimonious.
You think his campaign is done? Is that what you said the other day?
Well, it's not looking very good right now. I don't even mention him very much. I just mention because he did beat her in Iowa, substantially beat her. She came in 3rd place. She seems to be the only remainder, but I don't think she's going to do very well here either. You know, we were a little bit of a surprise. I've been a surprise for a long time in politics.
When you have to keep telling your supporters that you intentionally mixed up 2 people just to prove that you're mentally fit, you're making it much worse. But I'm sure Trump's base will take this at face value and say, of course that's what he's doing.
Our stable genius is playing 50-60 chess against the woke liberal George Soros-run deep state cabal.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, sweetheart.
Trump's only strategy is to cycle through the hits. You know, the one where he aced a cognitive test.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. I got to take it because I got to shut it up, and I took it, and I aced it. I think it was 30 questions. And let me tell you, you know, they always show you the first one, like a giraffe, a tiger, or this, or that, a whale. Which one is the whale? Okay, and that goes on for 3 or 4, and then it gets harder and harder and harder, and then it's multiplied 3,293 times 4, divide by 3. They have plenty of tough stuff. But those last 15, 20 questions, because cognitively, you know, I don't know if you saw, but a few months ago, I took a cognitive test. My doctor gave me. I said, give me a cognitive test just so we can, you know, because you know what the standards were. And I aced it.
Donald Trump is like the guy who peaked in high school and now spends every day drunk at the local bar telling people the same stories about how he threw the game-winning touchdown. Except for Trump, it's the Mocha test, which he'll tell you measures IQ, except it doesn't. It's aimed at detecting dementia or cognitive decline. I mean, it's literally in the name. Montreal Cognitive Assessment. Here's a quick explainer sketch that I made in 2020 after he bragged about it the first time.
Interesting. Doc, I need your help. Trump wants to take a test. What kind of test? He said he wants an acuity test. There is the Mocha. He already took it in 2018. As long as we can tell him he's smart. It's not an IQ test. It detects cognitive issues. Is it hard? You name some animals and recall 5 words. Can we give him bonus points? Nope. How long does it take? 10 minutes. What if we gave him 30 minutes instead? Will he lose points? Technically, no, but... Perfect. Send in the stable genius.
Donald Trump is so insecure about what other people think of him that he is desperately trying to convince everyone else that he is mentally okay for office and definitely not suffering from something like syphilis. And if Trump's mental decline is because it's developed into neurosyphilis, then move over, Nostradamus, because I called it back in 2017. And if it is neurosyphilis, then it now makes sense why he loves comparing himself to Al Capone.
I had that great. What the hell did I do? I got indicted more than Alphonse Capone. Can you believe it? Al Capone.
The orange idiot is not only so far gone in the head, but he's also just flat out wrong. Al Capone was indicted at least 6 times. Donald Trump was indicted 4 times. This guy is so triggered and afraid with the idea that he is mentally unfit for office that he is now challenging Nikki Haley to take an aptitude test.
Well, I think I'm a lot sharper than her. I would do this. I would sit down right now and take an aptitude test, and it would be my result against her result, and she's not going to win. She's not going to even come close to winning. In fact, when I heard the word cognitive, I've taken 2 of them now. I took one with Doc Ronnie, who's now a fantastic, White House doctor, and a fantastic congressman from Texas, Admiral, the White House doctor, Ronnie Jackson, and he's now a great congressman from Texas. I took one then, and I took one recently. I think the result was announced, and I aced it twice. I aced it. But I would say that, I've actually called for a cognitive test for anybody running for president, because I actually think that's a good idea. It would be nice to have an intelligent person be president.
So as we get closer to the general election, Trump has no accomplishments to campaign on. Well, except that one time that he said that he aced a cognitive test. He continues to lie about it for the same reason that he's obsessed with his hands and his pecker. He's incredibly insecure that those things and his accomplishments all share the same trait. They're all small and insignificant in comparison to President Biden. His magnificent border fell apart, COVID spread to the US, leading to over 1 million people dying from the disease, and the economy went to shit. And it definitely does not help Trump when Fox News reports on inflation going down, strong job numbers, and the stock market hitting all-time highs again.
Watching something that you might have noticed in the corner of your screen here, the Dow has never been higher than this, 38,000. It eclipsed that level in the closing minutes of the trading day. That is a new record.
Well, that's all for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and feel free to follow me at I am Gabe Sanchez. If you like today's episode and want to support me and the work that I do, you can join my personal Patreon and pick your tier to unlock exclusive content and perks. You can subscribe today at patreon.com/I am Gabe Sanchez. So until next episode, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?